All right, and without further ado, we're gonna check out what this brother had to say.
Yo, what's good? It's Stano. Y'all know how this was able to happen? You know how they would. I've already explained how the cartels be linked in with the different family members and associates that migrate to America.
Now check this out, right? It's funny. I'm gonna run this back because we already about to stop it and start it. It's funny that he said that because I've always talked about this, how these people come from the countries of the plug. These people come from the countries of the plug. So not only do they come with like that ingrained criminal element, but also they come with the drugs at a discount price. They come in with, as far as, you know, y'all know what I'm talking about. They come in with less than 10 a key. Less than 10 a key. And the way that people are booting stuff up now with you know, volume expanders, quote unquote, like, you know, heroin and are, you know, using fentanyl and stuff like that. And fentanyl is coming from these places also. They're already coming with the Sam's Club type discount. And in a lot of cases, they related to the plug. Like they're actually coming from the country of the plug. So that kind of changes a lot of dynamics with things as far as things goes on the street. However, if you ask me, the streets don't have a retirement plan except for at a funeral home. So sometimes when things start to change, maybe the idea is, hey, maybe it's time for us to like go and do corporate warfare instead of in the street. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe it's time to get out of the street and maybe it's time to like get a network security certification. Just a thought. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, what's good? It's Stano. Y'all know how this was able to happen? You know how they would. I've already explained how the cartels be linked in with the different family members and associates that migrate to America. They maintain them lines of communication. This shit didn't happen overnight. This happened over decades. So they get their people over here legally for the most part, and the ones that come behind them, most of them illegal. Most of them be members. Like I said, they establish, and a big reason why this shit was able to come to fruition, as far as these migrant gang, you know, being able to have some type of clout in our inner cities, we allowed this shit to happen. Like I had said previously, man.
Now let me ask you guys this question. I'm going to ask you guys initially, do you guys agree, quote unquote, that we, quote unquote, allowed this to happen? If you guys agree, quote unquote, that we allowed this to happen, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. And shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 28 people watching. We got 23 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 50, that'd be great.
It's known that whether it be Mexico, whether it's Venezuela, Colombia, Puerto Rico, Philippines, you know, them plugs, man. Niggas always looking for the better price, right? If you know, you know. So it used to be.
So now when he say people looking for the better price, quote unquote, if you know, you know, that's true. Shout out to Torian, shout out to Ms. Nisi, shout out to End Times. Shout out to RJ, shout out to Unsunken One. What's good with y'all?
I ain't gonna get too, you know, keep shit simple. But it used to be we go down south to get them packs.
Shout out to packs, Antithesis.
You know, either be coming from Miami.
So now when he said, so again, when he says we be going down south to get these packs, y'all know what he's talking about, right? Now, okay. If you listen to a lot of rap talks about hitting the I-95. How many people have listened to a rap song where the quote unquote I-95 has been referenced? Why is the I-95 quote unquote important when it comes to quote unquote getting them packs, quote unquote, going down south, quote unquote? We're going to test everybody's street smarts today. We putting y'all on the spot today. Why is the I-95 key in quote unquote music and popular vernacular when it comes to quote unquote going to the south to quote unquote get them quote unquote packs? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen, the corridor. Facts. If I'm not mistaken, the I-95 takes you directly from as far north as New York to the port of Miami. You can, in most cases, if you're getting stuff, quote unquote, from a quote unquote plug, in most cases, you have to get it at a port. And when I say port, basically that means port of entry to the country. Now, when you listen to the music and these people are talking about these quote unquote 10 a key prices, that's plug prices. They're getting that from a quote unquote plug. If you listen to a rap song and you hear them talking about the I-95 in a 10 a key, in that song, usually they'll talk about a person who has a name that sounds Latino. That's their plug. Okay. Let's go.
Simple. But it used to be we go down south to get them packs, and them packs, you know, either be coming from Miami. But where you think they come from first? But we all understand that. But so they get over here. Like I said, over the course of these last couple decades, the members, you know, they kind of, you know, get a rapport with the black members around the communities, you know, link up.
Now here go the question. This is the first question. For one, why would you gain rapport with these people or allow these people to gain rapport? And a lot of these people are quote unquote, they're anti-black. A lot of them come from anti-black areas. We all know about like all of the, you know, Confederates that went to Brazil after the Civil War, a lot of Operation Paperclip, a lot of people from World War II settled in places in South and Central America. And again, this is part of what I'll be talking about on Crimecast when I be saying people don't even know how to quote unquote do crime correctly. Now, I'm gonna say this like this. When it comes to the ways that a lot of people do crime the same way a lot of people do politics. And if you pay very close attention to the quote unquote crime, and if you pay very close attention to the politics, it ain't looking good either direction. So there's a clear cut similar issue with interpersonal skills, if you ask me, where people are lacking on situational awareness. Now, I don't understand like how you can be street smart, but you're not globally street smart. Do that make any sense? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Brooklyn Queen said, I actually got stopped in Ohio coming from New York City. You was on Interstate 80. You was on I-80. You was on the turnpike, but it's not the turnpike going into New York though. And they called the K9 unit, the whole nine, while my kids were sleeping in the car. Had my butt sitting on the shoulder until they were done. They were ridiculous. Was it the highway patrol or was it the police? Shout out to Torian. Torian said they saw the black community as easy access since they couldn't get it via PC community. Now, let me ask you a question real quick, Torian. What made them see the black community, quote unquote, as easy access? The fact that people are willing to do business with them and there's not really any, quote unquote, cultural boundary lines on business, or something else? Because to me, the way that I operate is I'm willing to engage with people who engage with me. Now, I'm willing to reciprocally deal with people who deal reciprocally with me, but I'm also always looking to get a deal, right? So, you know, a lot of these people, they only work internally, right? They only work with each other. But if they see people who are naive, who will take them in and do business with them while not getting business reciprocity, that's a situation that's ripe for the taking. So my question got to be, why are people doing deals with them? There should be a barrier of entry for plugs, allowing for distribution chains, allowing plug product. See, now basically what's going to happen now is like a lot of the black gangs, they're the middleman. Now the Latino gangs will have not only production but distribution. How it used to work was that the Latinos in the plug countries would grow the product, manufacture the product, ship the product, and the black gangs were what would be called, quote unquote, the mules. They would mule the product, transport the product, sell the product. Now that they have their own people integrated into these communities, they can use their own people for the muling, which means that two things are going to happen. Those groups are going to probably end up fighting black gangs for turf and area, and the black gangs are also going to probably fight each other for turf and area as well, and to get in better with the Latino gangs. The way to properly do business, if they had been, advanced, would have been to put barriers on the distribution and safeguarded the distribution and not allowed other distribution channels. You have to do business in a defensive and sometimes offensive way. But when you just accept everybody and everybody's cool and you just bobbing and vibing and everything is all good and we're not paying attention to this, next thing you know, somebody took over your enterprise. Somebody bought all the stock. And next thing you know, you got a 49% interest in your own company and somebody else got a 51% interest. And this is what I be talking about on Crimecast about they don't even do crime right. And now we're looking at the effects of they don't even do crime right. Goofy crimes. Not setting up businesses. This is unorganized crime. Unorganized crime can never really compete with organized crime. And it's funny because it seems like they don't understand that, but they're going to be forced to understand that. Lucky, shout out to the world, shout out to circumstance, lucky that I decided to not be a criminal. Because if I was a criminal, I would be like Lex Luthor out here. You know what I'm saying? You got to have some sense of business intelligence to be able to be an effective criminal. Crime and business, they go hand in hand. Crime and politics, they go hand in hand. So it's ironic to me that the crime enterprises are falling apart in the same way that the politics are, literally the exact same. And what has to happen is people have to stop not acknowledging the patterns and acknowledge the patterns and say what's going on in both of these situations. People doing crime the same way they do in politics. They had a black and brown. What he's talking about is the black and brown union, black and brown coalition in crime. Now what's going on? Now they're redistricting. You know what I'm saying? And as usual, because everything is a mathematical equation on each side of the equal sign, people are now figuring out the hard way that the world is correct.
You know, but they always had a bigger plan, man. See, we always allow, and this shit is not about racism. This shit is about survivalism. We always allow these outsiders.
Well, racism is about survivalism. See, my brother, if you know about Francis Cress Welsing and all that stuff, then you would know that racism is ineptly about survivalism when it comes especially to particular people. But this is what I'm saying about doing the crime right. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. This is more what I'm saying. These things are inevitable, and these things can and will happen as predicted, because there's only a small window of things that can and can't happen. And this is one of the reasons why on Crimecast, when I be, man, they're not even doing crime right. What are you doing to launder your money? What are you doing to flip your business into a legitimate business? You're doing dumb stuff. Why are you like just busting at ops for no reason? Why are you not linked up with somebody who has a CPA that can wash your money out the right way? I don't get it. I just don't understand it. Shout out to Torian. Torian says, oh, so now it's our fault. Of course, we are the low-hanging fruit. Who the hell are they going to blame when we aren't here? Our ghosts? Probably. Do you see they actually do blame our ghosts? You know, that happens all the time. They love digging up a black person and blaming some stuff on black people. But in this situation here, particularly, I'm strictly talking about the streets. I'm strictly talking about the streets. This stuff right here, as far as how it goes on the street side, all this stuff could have been prevented. All this stuff could have been prevented, because I'm gonna ask y'all a question. In the streets, can you go back and look in history and say that there was quote unquote black and brown coalitions in the streets? The quote unquote black and brown coalitions, quote unquote, of the streets is one of the reasons why we have all of this nonsense going on with hip hop and Dr. Cologne and all that nonsense. So politically, we got people saying no black and brown coalition, but the only problem is that historically there's all of this stuff. Fat Joe. You know what I'm saying? Rappers and criminals also using aliases of mafia and cartel characters. Capone and Noriega. Scarface. Houston, Texas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is stuff that can't. This is stuff that's documented. And then shout out to my man. This is a good video. It's insightful, but at the same time, though, I wouldn't be surprised if there were people out there who mentioned these kind of things to these people. And what probably happened? Clearly, the advice wasn't taken. You know what I mean? So now what's about to happen is people now the blockout is about to happen in the criminal world. Criminals are about to get locked out, blocked out. Because when you don't have a plug, right? Because you don't have a plug. You can't call up your Uncle Pablo. You can't call up your Uncle Angel and tell him that, you know what I'm saying, you coming down here, can you hook me up with, you know what I'm saying, some XYZ? You can't do that because we don't have direct links to a plug country. They do. So now you got the distribution and you got the production. So now these gangs in the street, the ones that's traditionally been in the streets, Bloods, Crips, Vice Lords, you know what I'm saying, folks, they finna get priced out. It's finna be a drought out here for all them. How you gonna compete? The other gangs will be able to get higher quality product, more product at a higher frequency, and have a direct line. And not to mention they plugged in the prison gangs. They probably link up with, you know, La MA or something like that. Let me ask you guys this question. How much planning and evolution contingency plans do y'all think? Do y'all think that these people paid attention to the politics to say, hey, they got a lot of migrants moving in, we might have to do XYZ? Do y'all think that took place? Do you think that there was any type of contingency plan to maintain turf or even to move politically? Now, you know, with other organized crime groups buy politicians. Y'all know the story about Jimmy Hoffa, you know what I'm saying? Even Trump involved with people, you know what I'm saying? Mafia figures. What politicians did any of these people buy? Shout out to KJ. What's good with it? What politicians did any of these people buy? What kind of reinvestment into their business and into their enterprise were they doing? If you watch Sons of Anarchy, the founder of Sons of Anarchy, dude named John Teller, who was Jax's dad, had the vision to flip the illegal 1% motorcycle club into legitimate business. That was the whole point of what they were trying to do. They wanted to get out of the criminal world and get into the legitimate world. That was the whole purpose of the show. In these instances here, my question is, what have people done to try to do that? And I'm asking the question, what have people done? I'm not saying they have or haven't done it. It doesn't seem like they've done it, because if you're in this kind of situation, it seems like a lot of things might have fallen through. But is there a known effort? A lot of people tend to flip money into rap labels and businesses and stuff like that, but somehow they still end up doing the same type of crimes. Once you flip your crime into a legitimate business, you're not supposed to be touching that crime anymore. You're supposed to be far removed from it and just collecting a manila envelope every week. And not even collecting it. Have them leave it somewhere under a bus, under a bus stop or something like that. And you go pick it up at night with a COVID mask on. So ain't no CCTV cameras picking up your face, because it's AI all over the place, right? So again, my question is, what was done? What kind of future vision was there? What did the OGs put into place for the BGs to have together so that the generation after the BGs wouldn't even have to go into crime. They could go directly into corporate America if that's the route that they're going to take, because that's the route that everybody took that came here. Everybody came here as part of a criminal enterprise. The white people that came here on a tax evasion scheme. So everybody came. So as much as they talk about these quote unquote opportunities and land of opportunities, all these people come here on some crime type stuff. So where's the organization? That's my question. Now, what's interesting about it is that if you look at the music that's parallel to quote unquote, I guess you would say what, like this lifestyle or like this genre, whatever you would call it, is there any indication in any of the music on how to make a contingency plan to get out of the streets? Is there any detailed blueprint? That's my question for you guys. So what I'm saying is, now all of these circumstances should have been predicted. And again, if you're in the streets and you allegedly get street smart, where is the evidence of the street smarts or the street intelligence? Where's the legitimate business that you're laundering your dirty money with? Where's the politicians that you're buying to be able to keep the police off of you, like Frank Lucas, who was an intelligent gangster, did? Let me ask you guys this question. How many people would agree with me that the political movements mimic the crime movements? If you guys would agree the political movements mimic the crime movements, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Patrick. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to the Geek Surgeon. What's good with you? Shout out to KO Kid Fit. What up with it?
To come take part, whether it be, hip hop, whatever the case may be. They move into our communities where we already be pressed for resources, shit already be hungry. You know what I'm saying? And we embrace them. For the most part, we embrace these foreign, like Puerto Ricans, Mexicans, you name it. Black folks, typically, we embrace these other races because we understand what it is to be on the outside looking in. But see, that shit don't work both ways, man. And I'm just speaking in general. I know it's not the same in every city, but y'all see what's going on in California? You know what I'm saying? You niggas be puffing out y'all chests like y'all the gang mecca. The motherfucking Mexicans is on y'all neck down there, man. So now Chicago and even Cleveland, we've had our issues, but for the most part, in Cleveland, as far as the Latin gangs, now MS-13, I don't fuck with them. But like I said, man, it varies from gang to gang. But at the end of the day, they have no allegiance to blacks, man. Yeah, they do business with us. Try to date one of their daughters. You know what I'm saying? That's where you find out how people really feel about you. They find out you're dealing with you know what I'm saying?
Now, check this out, man. Back in the day, I used to want to be, how there's a business consultant type job? I used to want to be a criminal consultant. I used to look at and study criminal processes of certain things. And I wanted to make a business that showed how to do criminal efficiency, quality control, and everything. Run your crime enterprise just like a business. I always wanted to do that. I never did it though, but I always wanted to do it. And the reason why I didn't do it is because when you get wrapped up and you deal with, I can't guarantee that everybody on that side of things would be as rational or as forthcoming as me. And I don't like dealing with irrationality because I like to have some element of control over what I'm doing, and things can get out of control and that type of element real quick. Sometimes I sit back and I look and I watch and I'll be like, I wish I had done it. I wish I had done it. A lot of this stuff is common sense. Now, I want you to pay attention to what this dude said. They didn't know that these people didn't like black people until, you know what I'm saying, they start like, you know what I'm saying, messing around with some females. You didn't know no historical background about any of these places, any of these people. Like, you didn't know what you were dealing with. Kind of not really a good idea to mix family and business anyway. That if you're dealing with people and you start messing around with, you know what I'm saying, like that's kind of like, you know what I'm saying, messing around with somebody at work. You kind of eating where you crap at. Not good business practice. You know what I'm saying? You don't mix business and pleasure. Sex is definitely pleasure. You're mixing business and pleasure. If there was any type of standard or professionalism or boundaries on what can versus can't be done, some type of quote unquote code, then a lot of this stuff would probably be self-correcting. But when I look at a lot of criminals or when I look at a lot of people in this type of life and I listen to the stuff that they say, I wonder where the term street smart comes from, because like a lot of the streets just ain't smart. A lot of the streets just ain't smart. A lot of this stuff is just comments, like certain stuff I just, you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, really? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like I don't know if I would necessarily deal with somebody who's close to the plug, who has intricate details of my life and inside of my house, and they might know where my safe is or something like that. Like, me personally, I'm just not gonna move like that. I don't like that element of risk exposure. Again, one of the reasons why I wanted to be a quote unquote risk manager for quote, and I wouldn't call it a criminal risk management place, because of course the police would be up and through there all the time. It would be called a quote unquote high risk management consultation. You know what I'm saying? A high risk management consultation. And a lot of this stuff is common sense. You know what I mean? And I just don't get it. It just, to me, like it doesn't make any sense. I don't understand.
And I'm just speaking in general. I know it's not the same in every city. But y'all see what's going on in California? You know what I'm saying? You niggas be puffing out y'all chests like y'all the gang mecca. The motherfucking Mexicans is on y'all neck down there, man. So now Chicago and even Cleveland, we've had our issues, but for the most part, in Cleveland, you know, as far
I knew he was from Cleveland. Didn't I tell y'all that in the beginning? I knew he was from Cleveland. Shout out to this brother, man. Peace to the 216. I knew he was from Cleveland. Homeboy looked like a Cleveland dude, sound like a Cleveland dude. 216 in the name. I knew it.
As the Latin gangs. Now MS-13, I don't fuck with them. But like I said, man, it varies from gang to gang. But at the end of the day, they have no allegiance to blacks, man. Yeah, they do business with us. Try to date one of their daughters. You know what I'm saying? That's where you find out how people really feel about you. They find out you're dealing with you know what I'm saying? So, you know, yeah, they will sit down at the table when money is greed. That's how this shit happened. Greed. Like I said, looking for the better plug, looking for the better, no allegiance in these streets, man.
Now, let me ask you guys again. Is this how the moves have been done politically? Shout out to Dwayne. What's good with it, bro? I appreciate the kind words. See, man, listen, like I said, people should be lucky. People should be happy. People should really wake up, and whoever you believe in, you should really wake up and really, one of the first things that you should do is be like, thank goodness Robb chose to live a legal life. Thank goodness Robb chose to be a law-abiding citizen. Because I'm telling you, I would be one of the worst. Like, they would make movies about me. They would make movies about me. I got all, like, man, listen, I'm trying to tell you. But I have no desire to do that. Some of the stuff that I see these people do, like, it just, I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it.
But I don't know what I expect, because niggas, we ain't got no allegiance to each other. You know what I'm saying? So why the fuck these other gangs, these other races, you know, why would they have, you know, any qualms about bucking up? But see, like I said, they waited until they fully infiltrated. And now that they, you know, they got the links, like I said, they got family here. So once they in here, they
and
in
see,
here.
I would actually like to interview this brother if I could, because see, he stay in Cleveland clearly, and I don't really know. I don't be in Cleveland all like that. I don't know if he down the way or up the way or where what part of Cleveland he's in. But what I would ask him is, because like I know on the west side is a lot of Latinos. It's been Puerto Ricans on the west side forever. So I don't know what's going on with no migrant influx in Cleveland, but I do know that Cleveland is a sanctuary city. A shout out to Mello. Mello says, I came across this dude's channel recently. I know he claimed to be black when he clearly isn't black. This dude looked just like these two dudes that went to my high school. As a matter of fact, I thought it was one of them, and they both black. And this dude is from Cleveland. It's a lot of mixed and really, really light-skinned, racially ambiguous, or people with like lighter gray texture hair in Cleveland, Ohio, especially like Busy Bone. I mean, this dude looked like a fifth, sixth member of Bone Thugs and Harmony. But we all on the now we on the they ain't like us. So now, you know what I'm saying, anybody that looks like slightly not exactly like how every single black person look, you know what I'm saying, it's questionable if they black or not. I'm from Cleveland. My whole family is from Cleveland. This dude literally looked like somebody that could be part of my family. Like, this dude looked like he could be like my uncle, my nephew, my brother, you know what I'm saying? He looked just like one of us. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, that's what it is. And I'm listening to his voice. You know what I'm saying? Like, this dude name is Skano. Like, again, I'm from Cleveland, but okay. You know what I'm saying? That's the YouTube line between reality and YouTube. You know what I'm saying?
So, and they maintain that line of communication with the gang leaders.
Shout out to my man AB. My man AB said it's the perpetual 50. Make sure y'all hashtag 50 and put it in the chat. Hashtag 50. We at that perpetual 50. If y'all haven't hit the like button yet, take a moment, hit the like button. If you have, throw some like enforcers in the chat.
This is the hardest record out.
Yeah. That perpetual 50. Shout out to Cameron. What's good with it, bro?
Cartels on the other side, they get them packs over here, you know. So once they took over their little sections, you know, they get over here, congregate in their sections. Niggas ain't
facts. Shout out to Rick Guillory, Cleveland headquarters, Bone Thugs and Harmony, light skin, ambiguous dudes. Facts. Cleveland. Shout out to Bronze of God. I had sent Bronze of God a video of Cleveland's mayor. They got like them, like the Creole looking people that they got like in Louisiana. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like that in the land. You know what I'm saying? But if you know about Ohio and you know about the history of Ohio and you know why all the counties is named what they named after in Ohio, a lot of that leads to why a lot of us look like how we do. You know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day, a whole nother stream, and a whole nother dream. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, where I'm from, you at your own risk if you fucking around in certain sections. As far as Latinos, Mexicans, woo woo. But so they got the plug. Now what? Well, they need to expand because the clientele, I mean, they got whole cities out there. So that's where the war is about to, that's where the beefing about to start, man. It was all good. Now they need to expand their clientele. Like I said, they taking over these communities, taking over projects, you know. Now that's the
so, and then we see the Tren De Aragua thing that's going on. So now I want to ask y'all this question. What do y'all think that it is that's quote unquote causing the conflicts? Because for one, you got, it's the anti-black hostilities, right? There's that. But I'm talking about the element of business. What is the specific element of business that's causing the issues? Because it's business conflicts and business issues, transactional issues, distribution issues. Those will be the breaking points that cause these quote unquote turf wars. Now, this is a criminal rendition of what Dr. Claude Anderson said when Dr. Claude Anderson said black people can't be fighting against all these other groups. Would you guys agree? This is the playing out of that. This is the playing out of that, but on the street side. And again, the streets mirrors legit life.
the extreme, but like I said, in Denver, that shit already has happened. And it's wars going on in different cities across America. And like I said, Cleveland included. Although for the most part, like I said, ain't shit really popping with that in Cleveland.
See, and then, there you go. So again, this also validates that I know what I'm talking about, where I'm at, because like I said, this really don't be going on all like that here, even though it could at any moment, because Cleveland is a sanctuary city, but it just don't be going down here. Because like I said before, when we had talked about Cleveland, I think it was Torian that had asked, Cleveland is a sanctuary city. Bro, ain't nobody coming to Cleveland. Ain't nobody coming to Cleveland, bro. We could be a sanctuary city all we want to, man. As picky as the migrants here, ain't nobody coming to Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? That's like having a choice of going to a 5-star hotel or going to one of them Roach meth hotels. You're going to be like, they both free, so I'm going to go to the 5-star. Why would I go to the Roach meth hotel? Because that's what Cleveland is. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, there ain't nobody coming to Cleveland. Ain't nobody coming to Cleveland until everywhere else is literally full and at capacity and they ain't got no place else where they can go. Then they'll come to Cleveland. But until that, they're not coming to Cleveland. You know what I'm saying? And again, this brother right here, shout out to him, substantiate what I had said and what I be saying about Cleveland. You know what I'm saying?
They get over here, congregate in 8 sections.
Not just Cleveland, but Northeast Ohio in general, because the whole Northeast Ohio in general is not Cleveland. So there's that too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Niggas ain't really, I mean, where I'm from, you at your own risk if you fucking around in certain sections. As far as Latinos, Mexicans, woo-woo.
Now, when he say where you at in your own risk, if you from where he from, he got to be talking about like on the west side. He got to be talking about like Ohio City, Tremont, Parma, Brook Park, Lorraine, Elyria. He got to be. I'm assuming, and I'm pretty sure that's what he's talking about. Because basically, the east side, and the east suburbs is black people, and the west side and the west suburbs, for the most part, is white people and Latinos. Latinos and the highest concentration Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? So that right there is probably what he's talking about. You know what I'm saying?
But so they got the plug. Now what? Well, they need to expand because the clientele, I mean, they got whole cities out there. So that's where the war is about to, that's where the beef is about to start, man. It was all good. Now they need to expand their clientele. Like I said, they taking over these communities, taking over projects, now that's the extreme. But like I said, in Denver, that shit already has happened. And there's wars going on in different cities across America. And like I said, Cleveland included, although for the most part, like I said, ain't shit really popping with that in Cleveland. But so you got No Limit Cairo just got knocked, with a switch. And obviously the word on the street is he out looking for them Venezuelan members. You know what I'm saying? That stepped on homie. And
now I don't even know about none of this right here. The No Limit Cairo and Venezuelans has some big. I don't know nothing about this. Do any of y'all know anything about this? I don't know who these people are. I don't know nothing about that. You know what I'm saying?
Like I said, this shit about to be up, man. It's up now. And it's gonna be stuck up. If it ever was a time for you niggas to stop killing each other, for gangs to just unite, and it's been so much talk over the years. I mean, even within our own set, because like I said, man, all Crips don't get along. It's different sets.
Oh, okay, so he must be like on the gangbanging side. He must be a Crip. Okay, so yeah, I don't know none about nobody or no events or none of this stuff that he talking about. This is a disclaimer. I have no idea what this dude is talking about. Shout out to him. Great video. You know what I'm saying? I don't know any of the people that he's discussing in the video. The only thing that I know about as far as this video is being discussed in terms of topics only. You know what I'm saying? In terms of topics only. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carlton. What's good with it?
It's like Wolf Street, Grape Street, Hoover, and we sometimes it's beef with other members of the same gang, man, on different sets. And the shit get complicated, man. And like I said, being that we don't have the structure, and that's
okay.
crazy. That
all right, shout out to KJ. So KJ, you talking about some stuff that went on in Chi in Chicago? Okay. Shout out to Mello. Mello said, "Yeah, I know about that. The migrants deleted one of Cairo's mans, and Cairo tried to get some get back and got caught in the process." Oh, okay, wow, yeah. See, I ain't know nothing about that. Shout out to you, appreciate it. Oh, okay, shout out to J. Lock. J. Lock said he's right. He's right. It was, I'm in Chicago. Okay, bet, yeah. And speaking of which, I got an article from the Chicago Tribune, because I'm sure a lot of people know. See, like, here go the thing, right? Check this out. And I want y'all to understand what's going on. When it comes to these migrants and these migrant gangs, they moving different than just any other gang. They getting bankrolled by the government through the migrant programs. You know what I'm saying? And on top of it, they got their side hustle doing their dirt. So they got two sources of income. You know what I'm saying? They got two sources of income, and they got the sanctuary city protection that these other gang members, you know what I'm saying, the Black American gang members don't have. You don't have no sanctuary city protection. America's never been a sanctuary for Black people. It never will be. So that makes it extremely difficult in a beef or going to war with people like that, especially in the street on some street stuff. When it's the Wild Wild West, when they can do something and they're going to get released the next day right back into their shelter or wherever they at. And you know what I'm saying? You got the consequences of dealing with having to possibly go to jail and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? That's a wild situation. You know what I mean?
Fuckers come from over there and they more structured than us in our shit. You know what I'm saying? But they understand that's the only way they're going to survive. That's the only way.
Now, again, I want to ask you guys a question. Would y'all agree with what he's saying? If y'all agree with what he's saying, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree with what he's saying, then give me a thumbs down. And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please do me a favor. Take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. We got 68 people in here watching. I appreciate y'all. And we got 58 likes. If everybody could bang on that like button and try to get us to 120 likes, that would be wonderful.
Each other, for gangs to just unite. And it's been so much talk over the years. I mean, even within our own set, because like I said, man, all Crips don't get along. You know, it's different sets like Wolf Street, Grape Street, Hoover, and we sometimes it's beef with other members of the same gang, man.
Now, one thing that is interesting about this, right? I don't know if anybody knows how the other gangs operate, but when it comes to the other gangs, especially like Latino gangs, especially like Mexican gangs, those gangs may be separate sets, but they're all loosely associated with La M, the Mexican mafia, and they all operate with the Mexican mafia, the prison gang, as the central base of organization. And this is what I'm talking about the difference between organized crime versus unorganized crime. This is the difference between organized politics and unorganized politics. If you will look at the crime and the crime failures, and you will see the same failures and deficiencies that you see in non-criminal life when it comes to political organization. And that's because the organization is non-existent. So we have to ask the question, at what point do people, regardless of what side of the fence you fall on, plan on making some form of an attempt to organize? That's my question for this dude, for, you know what I'm saying, people that's voting, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit easier for us, you know what I'm saying? You know, we got the hashtag couch 2025 or hashtag couch 2024 thing. I don't think these guys can do hashtag no keys this year. I don't think they can do that. You know what I'm saying? I don't think they can do hashtag no plug. I don't think they can do that. No plug, no sales. That's what they facing already. That's why they in an uproar. You know what I'm saying?
And on different sets. And the shit get complicated, man. And like I said, being that we don't have the structure that, and that's crazy that these motherfuckers come from over there and they more structured than us in our shit. You know what I'm saying? But they understand that's the only way they're going to survive. That's the only way. So
now let me ask you guys again. I'm going to ask the question. Would y'all agree with that statement that he just made? If you guys agree with that statement, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree with that statement, give me a thumbs down. And we're not going to continue any further until Carlton drops his opinions. No, I'm just playing. Hit the button for Carlton.
It's beef with other members of the same gang, man, on different sets. And the shit get complicated, man. And like I said, being that we don't have the structure that, and that's crazy that these motherfuckers come from over there and they more structured than us in our shit. You know what I'm saying? But they understand that's the only way they're gonna survive. That's the only way. So they own that shit. So like I said, man, Chicago about to be turned the fuck up. You niggas better stop worrying about, you know what I'm saying, 63rd and 61st, BD, GD, fuck all that. Philly, you niggas too. You know what I'm saying? Coming to a city near you, man. I'm telling you, a lot of niggas is just sleep on this shit. A lot of you niggas is doing business with these motherfuckers. And I understand, you know what I'm saying? Like,
and again, see, shout out to him for bringing up the point of doing business. This is why I be talking about value chains. Now, look, check this out, man. Again, this is why I be asking. The migrants come to the United States and have a huge and extensive value chain. They come here with a value chain, and then you become a part of their value chain without getting any value back from their value chain. And again, like I said, the criminal element shows another element of the alleged quote unquote black and brown coalition. Now, if people would read the newspaper, pay attention to politics, know exactly what was going on. Now, you know, if a lot of these people flip their business into legitimate business, they could have the business, you know what I'm saying, bring certain political speakers in there. The political speakers could educate those people, and they could use the businesses to try to cut down on immigration, right, through political assembly, right, and try to make it so that, you know, you're kind of using methods to block some of those people out, so that there's a manageable population, so that you could still have all of the power, determining prices and having bargaining power and different things like that. But again, the decision to not be strategic and the decision to not organize. If you flipped your proceeds from criminality into a legitimate business, with that legitimate business, you then bring in speakers and have continuing education on, you know, political rallies. Say, for instance, you want some type of political policies, you know what I'm saying, that cut down on immigration, and you push that at work as part of continuing education to indoctrinate those people at your job, so that those people who are not felons, who are working a legitimate job because they don't know what's going on behind the scenes, you created a population of people at your company that are going to contribute to a particular voting block. That will also continue to make good policy for your business, so that your business is prosperous, and for your dark enterprise, right? So that you have less of people from the plug company coming over. Strategic moves. And you build these things over time. Franchise your company, get your company nationwide, get out of the drug stuff, get out of the drug game once you're able to, you know what I'm saying, get out of it. But again, there's no forward thinking. Or is there? And if there is, where is it? Because the thing is that, you know, just because somebody doesn't materialize something doesn't mean that somebody never thought of it. See, I might never do any of the aspirations and things that I want to do, but somebody can look and watch my YouTube channel and my videos and say, this dude has some pretty innovative, interesting ideas. So it's on record. Yeah, somebody was thinking about this stuff. My question is, where's the record that anybody was thinking about that around them parts over there? That's my question.
Like I said, man, we already know what them plugs. I don't care if you're getting it from New York, if you're getting it from down south. The plugs is, you know what I'm saying? Them immigrants at the end of the day. So they kind of got a stranglehold.
There it is right there. Again, he legit is validating stuff that I said today, stuff that I've been saying. He's validating stuff that I've been saying. So again, like one of the questions that I be asking about people on YouTube is like, everybody's so tough on YouTube. Everybody always want to be fighting on YouTube, and a lot of people be just saying wild stuff on YouTube. Where's the people that understand this kind of language to be able to talk about this kind of stuff fluently? Or where's the history of legitimate street stuff in their content being backed up by something that a legitimate street dude be saying? Where is that? That's why you got to be careful with like fake people and phony actors on YouTube. I knew off rip this dude just from how he looked, how he talked, his name. I knew off rip he was from Cleveland. Shout out to him. You know what I'm saying? But you don't really come across that very often where it's people on YouTube like just identifying people from locality like that. Like it's just weird to me. Like if everybody, like I always say, if people believe what they say they believe, or you know what I'm saying, people got faith in themselves or whatever, you should see consistent and repetitive validations of this stuff coming out through their content, and the validations and repetitiveness and consistent consistency is just not there. You know what I mean?
Or on the dope game, you know, so niggas kind of like, it's like a reluctant partnership. But now that what they want to do is just eradicate niggas from the dope game. Like, you could be a middleman, a courier, but as far as, you know what I'm saying?
You just said what I said again. And even the middleman courier job's finna be gone. Those about to be gone. You know what I'm saying? But don't take my word for it.
They want to take control of all.
Now check this out, right? This is part of the job elimination that's not calculated as far as migrant impacts on jobs. This ain't calculated because they don't calculate criminal enterprise, or they don't calculate criminal element, or criminal labor is not calculated as far as jobs. But what you're looking at right now, this is outsourcing. This is outsourcing and reorganization. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to J-Lock. J-Lock says CSP be covering this topic about migrants in Chicago. Oh, I didn't know that, bro. I cover the migrant crisis too. You know what I'm saying? Not just in Chicago. I cover it all over. You know what I'm saying?
That shit. So the inner cities, everything. And that's what's going on right now. So like I said before, man, we do not have the luxury of this. This is not 1970, we never had the luxury in this country. For real.
So again, like, my question is, what are people's thoughts on this? Because I think that this is a really interesting, introspective, insightful video. I don't agree with everything that he says, but a lot of the stuff that he's saying is legit, and I do agree with a lot of it. And again, one thing that I don't think that anybody can agree with is that this mirrors politics. How many people disagree? If you do not feel that this mirrors politics, then let me know in the chat.
Never, for one brief moment, maybe in the 60s, early 70s, it looked like black folks could take a deep breath and kind of like realize what real life can act. And then that shit was over. So not only, you know, you got to worry about the system being on your neck, we got our own people on our neck. And now we got these immigrants coming over here trying to get on our neck too. That shit ain't gonna play out well for y'all. But these inner cities and these streets about to get bloody, like I said before. Ain't no way around it. It is what it is. It's about to be a full-blown battle for the drug gang in damn near every city in America.
Honestly, for real, it's not even about to be a battle. They already won.